so males get it too. And that's not, guys, to scare you or anything like that, but just be observant, just like we need to be, because 1% of diagnoses are men.
Yeah. I actually have a friend, which was surprising, who's a male and diagnosed with breast cancer. So it's happening to men now, which is kind of scary.
Yeah.
And so it's super important. I want to read some numbers to you guys. So statistics says Black women are more likely to die from breast cancer than women of any other racial group. Isn't that crazy? So for me personally, like I said, since my sister died, I've just been in a hustle, just like we gotta advocate. And so that's how I linked with Angel surviving cancer, because I'm like, if we're more likely to die, why are we more likely to die? Because I'm looking at how aggressive the cancer was for my sister. And they took forever to say, hey, it's cancer.
Right.
But we're running all these tests, seeing specialists, and they're still saying, oh, we don't know what it is. Let me send you here. And then by the time they figured it out, it was too late. So just to read this, it says, and then it says here, 1 in 5 Black women is diagnosed with triple-negative breast cancer. So not only are we the ones dying, right, but one of us is more likely diagnosed with triple-negative. So how can we as people, because I love everybody, but we're talking about, since it's breast cancer, this statement is saying Black women are more likely to die from this disease. So why is that, guys? Why do you think that's, like, why is that? That's a problem.
Yeah.
And what should we do about it?
One of the things is, I think as a culture, we self-diagnose ourselves. You know, we self-diagnose ourselves. When things are happening, let's just say you have a headache. You think it's sinus, it's outside.
Yeah.
You know, I'm stressed out. You know, I didn't eat. You know, we self-diagnose ourselves, and a lot of times it's more serious than the self-diagnosis. But we are advocates for our own selves. When something is going on, and we have to, whomever you choose to be, your physician, your PCP, whoever it is, you have to be on them with the I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, test me for this. I work with an organization with Kiara Information, and a lot of times it's something that is not seen, right? It's something that you could look at somebody, you would be able to tell that they have. They don't really run tests for that unless you ask specifically for those tests to be ran. And so we have to pay attention. When you're taking a shower, we have to pay attention to, you know, looking at yourself, examining yourself. And if there is something different, don't just look at it as it's a rash, right? Or if there's some type of discharge, it's hormonal, you know, some of those things. We have to really go in. My doctor, if I can't sit down and explain, and you can't explain to me if I'm asking specific questions about what it is, I may need to find another doctor, because we don't want to be treated as another individual. We want to be treated, we want them to have, even though it may not be bedside manners, sitting office manners as well. And I think one of the biggest things for us is we kind of self-diagnose, and we put things on the back burner. We hustling as women, we working, we're taking care of kids, we cooking, we got to go to football games and basketball games and track meets and all of those different things. And we put our health on the back burner. And I think that we have to be advocates to get those things done and not self-diagnose ourselves.
Absolutely, absolutely.
One of the things I would say is, in our culture, we like to keep quiet and keep secrets. And we're gonna have to quit doing that. We don't even want to share history. So when we having, one of the ways we can start educating and advocating is when we have these family reunions. When we having our girls' night out, let's talk about it a little bit, guys. Don't have to be really serious, but we need to share. We need to know our histories. I can remember, I would say well over 20, 25 years ago, there were a couple ladies in our church that passed. And the whisper was, it was breast cancer, and we didn't know much about it back then. But I think had we shared more, or opened up more, or spoke more, we might have helped with these numbers. So going forward, we just have to, whether we want to or not, and that's one of my things. I was like, do I share, do I say anything? But every day that I have breath in me, that I can speak about breast cancer, whether they like it or not like it, I'm gonna speak up, because I'm here another day. Somebody else is not. And if it can help help save one,
Yeah.
2 other sisters, we got to do what we have to do.
Right.
Okay, so another reason why I want to Diamond here is because she does so many things. I think you got a 31-day calendar, if I'm not mistaken, this month? I don't know. So I want you to tell us a few of the things that you do for breast cancer, because I'm just like, girl, I think I'm doing something. I'm not doing nothing. Go ahead.
Well, and now my mom and my sister, and they're like, we gotta tell everybody. We gotta tell everybody. So one of the things is on Wednesday, I will be honored as Champion for Change with the Rose. I'm excited about that. On Saturday, there's a walkathon in Missouri City. I'm doing that. And there's just a lot. I just feel like, and I'll say this publicly, it has to go beyond October.
Yeah.
Yes.
It has to go beyond October.
Absolutely.
If we can do everything that we do in the month of October, we can spend the rest of the 11 months out of the year doing the same thing. And not just for breast cancer, but there's other cancers as well. There's juvenile cancer, there's prostate cancer. And so there's a lot. I was speaking with a surgeon from MD Anderson, and I asked specific questions about insurance, and because I want to know, I'm gonna ask anything. I asked him, prostate cancer and breast cancer is where they spend the most money on research. And a lot of the other cancers, they don't have the funding for. Well, they do, but they put it towards breast cancer because, of course, the numbers are higher for prostate and breast cancer. But I'm just out trying to do whatever I can to express the awareness, not just based on my mom and my sister. I believe the Lord is using us as another testimony of His glory, His goodness, and the platforms that I have, the people that I am a part of, that we do different things like Manuela and Angel Surviving Cancer. We have a genuine concern and a genuine reason of wanting to express awareness. So this is the month of October. It ends on the 31st, next Tuesday. But I challenge others to get a mammo buddy. Get you a mammo sister. And even if it's not in the month of October, tag some people along with you. A lot of women are even scared of the results. And so that's another reason why they aren't really an advocate. But if you could be the person, the hope of someone to save their life by going with them and going on the journey with them, then I believe we'll lower those numbers when it comes to our culture. So that's what I have for the rest of the week.
So, audience, I have a question. LeVar, that's your part. We want to open it for the audience.
Questions?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, absolutely. Yes, ma'am.
The other thing I failed to mention, as far as helping us with our numbers, as African American women, culture, the whole thing, we have got to be involved in clinical trials.
Yes.
We run away from those like the plague. Yes, we have, doubts, and we don't trust some of our physicians, but there are some good physicians out there, and there's some great oncologists out there, and we have to do clinical trials in order for us to know how these treatments work with us as a culture. It's different from any other culture. So the only way we're going to find that out is by participating in clinical trials.
That's good.
All right. So get everybody's attention right quick. I'm LeVar again. So this is the part where we want this to be interactive, and we ask if you're not nervous, scared, or shy to come up, and you'll sit down. We'll give you the mic so that way everyone can hear, and be mindful that we are recording too, so it'll pick up on the video feed. If not, I guess I'll come over and ask you what the question is, and I'll speak up so that way it can be heard. But basically, you just get up. If you want to put your hand up or whatever the case may be, if there's anything that you want to say, you want to ask, or whatever the case may be about breast cancer, about anything, or to anyone on the panel, now's your time. Who's first? How about that? Yes, sir. Welcome. Just sit right in the middle, yes.
On the floor?
No, right here.
No, on stage. Right on stage. We're going to do you like that.
Come sit right here.
Right here.
Get it? You look
So, I'm sorry. Tell everybody who you are and what you do.
Say yes. Oh, so
Your name and what you do, sir. Yes, sir.
I'm Mark Akins. I'm here from Cleveland, Ohio. I just moved to Texas.
Welcome.
Yeah, I've been here for not even 2 weeks yet. And I'm a salesman by day and Batman by night.
Absolutely.
God brought me here. I like to think of myself as a vessel for God, so God brought me here. That's why I'm here. I'm supporting. I got involved in a lot of stuff back in Cleveland. So one thing that was extremely interesting is when you guys talk about men getting breast cancer. So I know my mom would always talk about going and getting like mammograms and different stuff that women should get done, like by OBGYN, but I thought that was only like a woman doctor. So would a guy go to an OBGYN to see if he had breast cancer? Or?
Oncologist, yeah.
An oncologist?
Oncologist.
Okay.
Yes, so you would, in the end,
Yeah, you can, even wherever your primary care physician is, they can refer you to an oncologist. It's better to go through your PCP because that way you don't have to pay the additional fees when it comes to the insurance side. But I'm glad that you asked that question because that means that you want to have that done, right?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, I'm just making sure. But no, I would go through your PCP and say, you're at a stage where you want to be tested. And then if they can refer you to an oncologist and they'll be able to do the test that you need in order to check yourself.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
And I would say too, that's what happened.
You pass her.
Once I found the lump, I went to my PCP, and the PCP did an exam as well. And they was like, yeah, something is there. So by that time, I was already a nervous wreck and I didn't know which direction to go in. And so the PCP connected me with the entire team. So yes, there's your PCP can lead you there or to, get what you need.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Now we're gonna be hunt you down to see if you went and got that test and don't show.
Is there anybody else?
Go ahead, yeah. This is good.
Hey, leave Texas. I see.
Come right here, so you know you're directly at that camera. Okay.
All right, so I'm Lakeisha. Sharon's my mother. From the caregiver side of it, it was hard for me. My mom is my everything, my hero. So to see her going through this, it was tough for me to try not to break down in front of her. Her motto was to keep it moving.
Absolutely.
So instead of just laying around, she always like, let's go to this, let's go to this, let's go to this. So she always kept moving. So it was important to have that support system. And when they say that people come into your lives for certain reasons, this group right here that I have, they definitely came for a certain reason. They prayed, they are a strong group of parents. They always pray for my mom. Like she said, they support. So I think it's important that when you do know somebody that's going through that journey, that you are there for them, because it's something different for some of them that they go through. You can't know or understand what they're going through, but if you are there for them and you're encouraging them, supporting them, praying for them, I think that was a really big factor for us. Like I said, for me, I was like, oh man, my hero, they took Batman down, Superwoman down. So it was just trying to make sure that we were there for her. She was very encouraging. My dad probably saw more and experienced more with her than I did, but the times that we saw her, it was just, you learn a lot when you go to the doctor's appointment. And I'll say when I go to the doctor's appointment, I'm just like, oh, I got my checkup, I got it done. But going to appointments with her, make sure you have a notebook, because they're going to say words to you that you don't understand. They talk really fast. You have to write everything down, and then you go back and look at it. So just to have that support system in place is, I think, really big for people that's going through their journey. So.
Absolutely. I'm going to just say share this, but you are absolutely correct. I have two ladies that I met. We went through a biblical studies class. We actually was going through cancer with our parents at the same time. At the same time. We had every night we prayed at 8 o'clock. Pray for each other, pray for each other's parents, pray for the strength of each other. We fast on the day of surgeries to make sure, like, Okay, y'all, she ain't came out of recovery yet. Okay, we wait till she come out of recovery, you know, and you need that support system. And even with understanding organizations like Angels Surviving Cancer, that when the doctors say specific things and you have no idea what those words mean, because instantly the unknown is a worry. So when you have organizations that have other individuals that have went through specific things, you can ask them questions. Oh, I had that. Well, what stage? Okay, well, this is what the process will be. You know, and even though each individual is different, it still gives you ease as to understand, because those words that are thrown out, the medicines, the percentages, you know, the stages of, well, why you have to do this and why you have to do that, it's important to be surrounded by those support groups, even if it's not happening to you right now. I thank God that God gave me what he gave me to surround myself with people like Manuela and Reconstruction of a Survivor and Angels, because I have no idea where my mind would be if I didn't have those resources. So it's very important for that support system. And I tell people the seeds that I sown in those organizations, my parents, my sister is reaping the harvest of what I did in those organizations. So it's very important. Even if you're not going through it now, think you just never know when that will happen to you.
That's good.
Candace, you have something?
I have a piggyback.
Come on. We got Candace back there. Come on. This you.
I'm tall, y'all.
We love you tall too.
Well, I just wanted to piggyback off of my Ohio brother that had a question about what do the men supposed to do. So I work at MD Anderson. I just went back home. That's my home. Okay. So you know that they have the cancer prevention and screening services. So I plan on doing that myself due to the fact that my family history of cancer in the family. So like Meka was saying, my dad was diagnosed with colon cancer last year. And so we've been battling that. That's been a very big spiritual battle, especially for someone who's like, I believe in God, but yet you have those weary days. So then that's where I fall short, because I'm like, well, that's my daddy. I'm seeing my daddy weaken. And you know, and that hurts. So then I follow my sisters like, okay, and they know I'll pretend, but you have to clear as well. So that's a struggle at times, but I feel every day I'm strengthened by those warriors that are behind me and by my Savior above. The other thing is, yes, you do need a notebook, because although I sit in the cancer world, there's still words I'm like, what? So to find those that can sit and educate you, that's a good thing as well. I sit under some people at work where I'm like, so what does that mean? So just finding just a good support group. My struggle with my family members that are struggling with cancer is that sometimes they don't want to hear from you. Mm-hmm. So the support groups is a good thing, because you know, I'll be seen as, my dad would see me sometime as that sugarcoating. Okay, like, well, the man just said that I got this, and I'm like, no, Daddy, that doesn't mean that. That's this. You know, he don't want to hear it. But if I tell it to like a stranger or something, I'll be like, go tell him this. Then they're like, oh, okay, well, it's not that bad. Yeah. But I just said that. But so sometimes you need those people as well that, you know, can come off as a friend to just say, hey, no, it's not that bad, it's okay. So, but I want to mention that MD Anderson cancer prevention and screening. I'm going to go because of my deep family history of cancer, and just go in there and get screened in all areas if possible. Yeah. So.
Okay. All right. So, hi guys, I'm Candace. I'm usually the director of this great podcast that we have here. I've had my battles with the big word C, starting at age 22. So when I say I know a thing or two, I know a thing or two. And now my dad is battling stage 4 liver and stage 3 kidney cancer, right? Now the thing about it is, the C word is hard.
Yeah.
Stopping us from not working was harder. Okay, to this day, my dad was on the roof this morning fixing somebody's shingles for something. But I will say this, since I was 22 and I've gone through those medical challenges, I know about the treatments, I've gone through them, I've lost all my hair, I've lost a lot of weight, over 100 pounds. Look, I done gained it back, but ain't nobody gonna talk about that. Okay? But, you know, podcasts like this are important because when y'all talk about testing, I want to let people know, do not forget genetic testing as well.
Yes.
You know, you go in and get the screenings, but go in and get that genetic testing because cancer's on both sides of my family, and I've already dealt with that being a young adult. So I know it's very important. And what she said about clinical trials are great. If it was not for clinical trials, I would not be here right now. And I'm going to say that, and I'll forever say that, and I will support anytime. If you can put on a pair of shoes and walk and support somebody, do it. If you can write a check, do it. But also at Texas Oncology and also MD Anderson, they have volunteer programs. You can drop off books, you can drop off blankets, you can just go in and sit in, you know, in the waiting room with someone. It doesn't necessarily have to be your family member. I do that to this day. So I just want to tell people, even though we all know someone is battling, it's all about how you decide to choose to operate within that day. So I do it with a smile, and so does my dad, and we just keep it moving.
With the genetic testing, so when I went to go have the BRCA test done because it was my mom, it was my aunt, it was my cousin. And the strange thing about it was, even though it's all three of them, when I went to the appointment, they wanted to test my mom instead because she had it, so I didn't even get to test it. Well, according to that, it's not genetic. So that's where you have questions like, well, what is it? Right. It's not genetic, but it's everybody on our side of the family. So I was ready to, you know, they was like, if it come back positive, you can get a break. I was ready to get all that done. But they didn't test me, so I still recommend the testing just to see. But then you still have those questions. If it's not genetic, then where does it come from? Stress, food we eat, our lifestyle, you know. So it's all of those things play into it. And again, you learn a lot from going through it. And it wasn't just me, but just going through it with her. You know, and so you learn a lot about it. So it may not be genetic, but you also have to watch some of the things you do. And I even had to pull back. I'm a teacher. So when she started seeing stress and that's when she started feeling, I was like, oh, I gotta cut some stuff out at work. You know, that can't go on my plate and come home with me. So you still have to watch that too as well.
On the genetic testing, as she said, when we went to the appointment, I went with her to support her. Oh Lord, I want you to go through this. But I took the test. The test came back negative. That is not genetic. But I've since also went to one of those genetic seminars, and the doctor there, the genetic physician there, she recommends doing the genetic testing every 4 to 5 years. Well, it's my 4 to 5 years now, so I will have it redone again, and I think we still need to have her do it as well. We hadn't talked about that again, but I think we both probably should go ahead and have it done.
Anybody else? Coming up? No? Okay. I just wanted to mention something again. My name is LeVar. If you just tuned in or you didn't hear my name earlier, something.
Can't see you on the camera.
Oh yeah, I'm scooting over. So something that I wanted to bring up is kind of been talked, but also I feel like maybe not made a hard point of is when you're supporting somebody that's going through cancer. They say the one of the greatest healers is laughter, right? Yeah. So it's all important to keep the people in a good mood. Because I've lost my aunt, I've lost my dad, my stepdad that my mom was married to forever, a couple of friends, prostate cancer and all of this. It's all in the mindset, you know, because when you hear you got cancer, you hear the C word, everything's downhill, right? But if you can get somebody to keep their mind stable and keep themselves in a good spirit, that's gonna automatically help them live a lot longer. And then also talking about the genetic testing and all the things, you hear the things, you get tumors, or is it benign, is it malignant, all these things. I think it's important too to remember that it's okay to get a second opinion. All right, you know, it could be malignant, it could be benign, like they can misdiagnose you as well. So you don't just run with the first thing you hear. Definitely get with all the resources that you're hearing about and make sure that you are fully aware of what the situation is. And that's just something that from my heart is making sure people that are going through these issues can stay and remain in a very hopeful mindset, because when they lose hope, I done seen it. When they lose hope, when it comes back, you wipe it away, and then they don't want to go back and do the radiation and all that stuff. They sound good, or they just don't want to go back and go through it because it's painful. So I'm not saying make them giggle and laugh, because they might not be able to handle that part, but just their mindset, you know, I think is very, very important. And if you need to get 2 or 3 opinions for it or about it or whatever, and just because, you know, somebody has alphabets behind their name, doesn't really know that they know what they're talking about. So I just wanted to put that out there. Yeah.
I know you have a book, and I want you to tell us about the book. You said you wrote a book.
Okay. Can I first just say a few
Absolutely.
things about
Whatever you
Angels?
want to say.
Okay,
Yes.
so I am here on behalf of Angels Surviving Cancer. So I did want to say just a little bit about the organization. Janice Workhoff is our executive director and founder of Angels, and she is a 35-year survivor. We support and assist breast cancer survivors. And the way we do that is through the CARE program. It's the Janice Workhoff Legacy CARE program. And that's care, awareness, resources, and encouragement. And so I'm not one of the ladies that can do it because I work full time, but there are several ladies in Angels that goes to doctor's appointment with ladies that, you know, are afraid, or just like say sometimes the doctors are talking over your head and they didn't quite understand it. So some of the ladies will go back to an appointment with them to make sure they get the information that they need and that they understand what their treatment is and those kind of things. We help with financial assistance, women that's going through treatment with, it could be rent, it could be co-payment, car note, and so that's pretty much what we do. We also have a HALO program, which is for the young women, and I think that age group is 25 to 40, and my daughter has participated in that as well, and I keep trying to put it on her plate, but she keeps pushing it off. But hopefully she'll get a little bit more actively involved. We also have guardian angels, and those are supporters, members that don't have breast cancer, and so they come alongside and assist angels however they can. Things that's coming up. You mentioned a walk next week. Is that New Faith's walk?
No, that's not New Faith.
Okay.
It's another walk, but I know about New Faith.
Okay. So Angels is got quite. Our plate is always full.
Yes.
The month of October is like, okay. Last year we was like, Miss James, please don't put nothing for Angels to do because we don't have any room because we're so busy going out trying to support a lot of organizations and different companies and things that support Angels, so we try to show up for them. I missed last week, which I hope I don't miss it again, was the motorcycle ride that they do every year. Man, when I tell you them some bad women, I'm like, okay, I already been telling my husband, can we give me a motorcycle? Because I want to ride. I don't want to be sitting on the side. I want to ride. So some of the things that is coming up, October the 28th, New Faith has a breast cancer walk, and it's at Community Park in Missouri City. Also on that Sunday, they have Pink Sunday. And that's at their church, which is on West Fuquay. Okay, and then on the 29th, there's a Going Pink Breast Cancer Awareness at Brown Chapel AME Church, and that's at 11 a.m. The other thing on the 30th is Pose in Pink Breast Cancer Awareness. It's at the Fountain Life Center, and that's yoga with a little bit of breast cancer awareness information.
The Councilwoman Martha Tatum is helping host that also.
Okay. And then in November, Angels does a Thanksgiving celebration over at St. Francis.